Welcome back. Chief Goddy Uwazurike joins us now. He's the president of Aka Ikenga. He's a lawyer and also was a member of the most recent national conference. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, we're trying to get an understanding in terms of what exactly is going on with this protest of the IPOB, MASOB, different groups in the southeast about this Biafra protest. What can you tell us is really going on?
Well, you know, the Civil War ended 46 years ago. In a simple language, all those who are below 46 only heard about the war. Those who are below 50 saw the war as children. Those who are below 60 saw the war as youngsters. In other words, they heard there was a war. Probably they ended up in refugee camps. But those who are 46 probably also have children who are in their 20s. They don't have an idea of what war means. All they know is that their forefathers went to war, and that Britain, America, and Russia ganged up, supported Nigeria to defeat Biafra, and they want to do something about it. For these people, these are people are called the internet generation. Their own kind of agitation is not armed agitation. It's plain use of words, press releases, broadcasts, civil disobedience.
What do you think they're protesting for, against?
They are saying we want Biafra back, in simple language.
The Biafra that you say they didn't know about?
They didn't know about it.
Why would they want it back?
They didn't know about it. But remember one thing about history. You romanticize an idea. So for them, Biafra was an El Dorado, something they look forward to. But this is where the problem starts. The response of the Nigerian government has been varied. Obasanjo more or less ignored them. Yar'Adua ignored them. Jonathan ignored them. But under President Muhammadu Buhari, it is confrontation.
Now, I'm just trying to understand, I mean, why would they want Biafra back? If it was war, it wasn't a pleasant experience, they didn't know much about it, why would they want it back? What exactly do they want
back?
Well,
in the first place, anybody who experienced that war will never want it back. As they say, war is an evil wind that blows no one any good. And the great writer, Igbo writer, I think he published in 1923, he said, "He who runs to war does not know that war means death." In other words, in Igbo, just about war. So these youngsters who are in their 20s, believe you me, have no idea of what war means. But all they have an idea is that once upon a time, there was a republic called Biafra, and they had a leader called Ojukwu, who just died recently. That is all. Everything is in the internet or what they read in the books.
But what are they doing with his message? Because he also said, look,
yes,
they should perish that thought.
Young people hardly listen to old men. By the time Ojukwu cautioned them, Ojukwu was an old man. A romantic figure, a figure in the archives you look up to, but not a figure you walk with. Remember that a young man thinks that life is straightforward. All of you, when you were coming out of university, what did you think? Within 1 year, you have this. Within 2 years, you go here. Within 3 years, you move into this. The next time, you're always flying in and out. That is the privilege a youngster has. A teenager has that privilege. But as we are sitting here, we don't. We know the reality.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, because many of them are putting their lives on the line. What will make them put their lives on the line, especially when they don't understand?
Well, that's the meaning of that proverb. He who runs to war does not mean that war means death. See what is going on now. You have teenagers. They come out in the streets. They carry no weapon, no knife, no machete, no gun. All they do is carry Biafra flag, and they be doing like this. And if you check all over the world, that is the mode of demonstration. It's not just here. But what determines what happens next is the response of the authorities. In some countries like Britain, they even have a place where you go to protest. What of America? You go and stand in front of the White House. Vietnam must kill you. I want Vietnam back. Nobody disturbs you. Even the Biafra movement had to even do that demonstration in front of the White House recently. So, but the response of the government is the issue. When you take armed soldiers to go and confront unarmed civilians, you're only asking for trouble. I mean it, you're asking for trouble. If they stand on the road and say, on Biafra, we stand on Biafra, ignore them and move on. It will come to nothing. If with time it will come to something, it will. As they say, what is politically impossible today becomes politically inevitable tomorrow.
But how do you ignore such? Because if you look at the mode of gathering, how they spread across different states in the southeast, even some states in the south, you can't ignore that kind of
well,
can you?
There is an expression that is now trending. One is Yaraduanize it or Buharize it.
What does that mean?
Yaraduanize it is after the late Yaradua. Buharize it is after our current president. In other words, Yaradua will call you to a meeting and find out what is your problem and try to solve it in a civil way. Buharize it means confront it. No room for anything other than squashing you. Whenever you bring soldiers to go and confront unarmed civilians, there's only one thing: civilian casualty. Soldiers are trained to kill. They're not trained to manage situations. I'm happy the IG of police has even said police should
Disarm them?
disarm, and I wonder what that one means. Herdsmen have been harassing everybody in the south and the south. Nobody has ordered soldiers and policemen to go and disarm them.
The president has said that
No,
that
deal with
must
them.
stop.
That must stop, but that is taught in same strength as the language. President just made a broadcast the other day. Did he say that about the herdsmen? None.
Is it because this boils on the unity of the nation?
Yeah, I know, but the other one boils on hundreds of lives who are dead. People can't go home. The worst incident now is that on the expressway, they block it now and take you. You know where they come from. I'm happy the Fulani of Nigeria said that these people are foreigners, but they're also Fulanis, and they speak for full day.
What do you think the security agencies should do if you're protesting and you block the roads and people can't move? How should they approach that?
Well, I know that in the uniformed services, they also go the extra mile to train you in management of civilians. If you bring them, they know how to manage them. It's something a mature police officer will do. But get a soldier who is in his 20s, and you do like this in his face, there's only one response.
So that's where leaders like you in the region come in.
Yes.
What have you been doing to tell them, listen, well, you could protest if you want, but you must be peaceful and no treasonable kind of scenario?
Thank you for saying that. That is our message to them. We cannot support any armed struggle. There is no room for that. We cannot support you carrying weapons. There is no room for that. We cannot support you killing anybody. But if you want to carry placards, we have no objection. Vehicles must pass. You cannot stop anybody from going about his business. You're young people. You have seen nothing. Those of us who have seen sights, as Shakespeare would say, will know that you must think twice. But also remember this, that as we all here now, none of us will go to the road and stand for 1 week. We are employed. Those youths you see over there are unemployed. That's the meaning of Yaradua's system. He applied it to the Niger Delta issue. Remember, Jonathan even took it further, which was why Jonathan called all those people, all these rough boys, protect the pipelines. We'll pay you for protection of pipelines. He came to the Southwest, OPC, protect the pipelines. We'll pay you. That's when there was not like a repo. But as soon as this government came, they said that's corruption. All of them had to go. That is Buharize it. A repo, you have had shootouts. People are dying. In the Niger Delta area, you know what is going on now. So these are systems of management.
You know, I need to, sorry, Newton, I need to bring it back to elders like you, professionals like yourself. You said those who haven't witnessed war before don't even understand the implication, and these young people are a part of those that never experienced the Civil War. But if you look at how we have been, or they have been building this crescendo to this moment, it tells you that all is not well. Whether you talk about joblessness of the youth, or you talk about an agitation for a sovereign nation, which some of them are clamoring for, they still have to be listened to, isn't it?
Well, you listen to the youth, that's the first thing. Know what his problem is. When he wakes up in the morning, he has nowhere to go to. And you tell him there's a demonstration going on. Jump on the next Okada, he'll go. I'm not talking of just something that is peculiar to the Southeast or South-South. I think 8 years ago, 7 years ago, the federal government sent out a team to go and check a few things. Level of employment, level of federal government projects. When they did that, I think Abuja had the highest. In terms of development, Abuja had the highest. Then, according to the 6 zones, Southeast had the lowest level of federal government presence, followed by Northeast. When it came to federal government employees, Northeast had the least, followed by Southeast. So when you look at geographical development, then you begin to understand why some youths are easily attracted to anything that is called protest.
No, you know, you just named 2.
Yes.
Southeast.
Yes.
Northeast.
Northeast.
And these are the 2 places we have this.
Boko Haram, Biafra agitation. In the Northeast, let me tell you, in the Northeast, the warning had been going on for years that you get up in the morning, you go and sit under a tree. The richest man in the village, when he wants to eat, everybody will gather around and eat. We knew that that was a ticking time bomb, that these are people waiting to be attracted. And when Boko Haram message came, they moved.